What up, it's Dane, and in this video I'm going to be telling you how to build a ripped muscle fast. So without further ado, let's get straight into this video. First of all, in order to build ripped muscle, you need to understand that by doing 20-25 reps, you're not just going to get ripped toned muscles, right? So I'm going to be telling you exactly what you need to know about nutrition and training, everything in this one video. Okay, so in order to build muscle, you need to eat in a calorie surplus. In order to lose fat, you need to eat in a calorie deficit. So if you want to get a ripped muscle, you want to build that muscle and you strip off that fat. So you want to eat in a surplus and eat in a deficit. So that's the most important fact you need to know about building muscle and losing fat in a nutrition aspect. Okay, so the three most important factors when it comes to building muscle is progressive tension overload, aka adding more weight into the bar or resistance, metabolic stress, aka also known as the chasing a pump, like the original bodybuilding style workout. And then the third factor is muscle damage, which interlinks with chasing a pump, hitting the muscle from different angles, muscle being stretched in the lengthening phase, stuff like this, eccentric. So those are the three most important factors when it comes to building muscle. Okay, so in order to build muscle, you need to be increasing strength from the compound exercises, right? I can't emphasize this enough. I see way too many people just go through those doors in the gym, jump on isolation exercises, one arm lateral press down or some stupid shit like this. Really increase the resistance over a period of time on a compound exercise, right? It's so important, especially for teenagers, newbies, beginners. It's real important. So an example workout program would look like this. It would either be a power building style or periodization program. If you don't know me already, power building is a very big philosophy of mine, and so is periodized programs. It basically means increasing resistance over a period of time, and as well as doing the isolation exercises, meaning it has mechanical tension, metabolic stress, and muscle damage. The three most important aspects. So an example workout program would be something like flat bench press, first exercise 3 to 5 sets, 3 to 5 reps even, and then the same would be for dumbbell shoulder press. After you've hit those two compound exercises, then you move on to the isolation exercises, and then after that you could end your workout. So really focus on, after the first two exercises, really focus on getting stronger than mechanical tension. Then we move on to the second part of the workout, what I call bodybuilding part of the workout, and this is where you concentrate on muscle pump, muscle connection, and obviously some eccentrics. Make sure that your reps on the eccentrics are more than 6 seconds, because they will be detrimental to your growth, and research has shown this. And then obviously hit the muscle for different angles if you're on maximal muscular hypertrophy, because you're obviously activating all the muscle fibers. For example, if you just do, like, say you train your chest that day, which I never recommend training one muscle group per day, just it's the same to me anyway. For example, if you train your chest and you just train a supine movement, for example, pressing up like this, you're not recruiting all muscle fibers, because you're not recruiting muscle fibers from this direction, you know what I'm trying to say. So that's one really important factor, increase strength on the compound exercises. Okay, so the primary factor now that we know is progressive tension overload. The secondary factor, or the second most important factor, is what is called volume load, right? It's not just volume, it's volume load. So this is called, or you can get this formula, which is reps times sets times the tonnage, so the load. For example, if you do, say, 10 reps, 5 sets, and you're lifting 100 kg. It's that simple. Get that formula. And this is really important because this can be done either way, right? For example, say someone's like bench pressing, say for 10 reps, and then they do like the same amount of sets or even more sets of lighter weight, and someone's just doing heavier weight, but that end number still equals the same, right? So that's meaning their volume load is still the same. So this is really important as well to think about when you're trying to maximize your muscular growth and get that ripped muscle. So anyway, let's jump into the next factor. Okay, in order to get ripped muscle, you need to be concentrating on your nutrition, as I mentioned at the start of the video. So you're probably thinking, oh, how much protein do I need? Come on, then tell me. Okay, so the amount of protein you need is, what I typically recommend is 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. And typically, again, I recommend you increase this number if you're dieting, but we're looking to build muscle here, rip muscle. But because you're looking to build a rip muscle, you're obviously going to want to cut that fat or strip that fat after you build the muscle. So you want to eat in a calorie deficit, and that's when I recommend a higher protein intake of about 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. And the reason being is because I generally recommend a lower protein intake when you're bulking, is because your body's got way more nutrients than it actually needs, compared to when it's in a deficit, it hasn't got as much nutrients than it requires. So yeah, that's protein requirements. And You're probably thinking as well, meal timing. Oh, I've gotta have a post-workout shake, man. I'm gonna die. No, this is not the case. If you're not eating for 4 to 6 hours during the day, then maybe you need to start like concentrating more on meal timing. But as I know, people are eating way more than 4 to 6 hours per day, unless you're doing intermittent fasting, which kind of means muscle protein synthesis isn't going to be optimized as much. But like I said, 6 hours maximum, then you don't really need to worry too much about it. So that's the meal timing. Meal frequency kind of links in with meal timing in a way. If we talk about muscle protein synthesis, you don't really need to eat 6 meals a day. In fact, you don't. To me, that's just bizarre. About 3 meals a day should still be fine. Again, as long as you're eating about every single meal at a maximum, like if you want to get 40 grams of protein each meal, that would be good enough if you have 3 meals a day. If you have like 5 to 6, 20 grams of protein per meal would be good enough. When if you have only like 2 meals a day, probably bump that up to about 60 to 80 grams of protein per meal. So basically, the most important factor as well when it comes to obviously nutrition, and when you're thinking about meal frequency, meal timing, it's just reaching that leucine threshold. And leucine is an essential protein amino acid. Essential protein amino acid, that made sense, nice one. But yeah, it's an essential amino acid, and for younger individuals like myself, and even like middle-aged individuals, you need to get about 20 grams of protein, and the elderly need to get about 40 grams of protein because they're old, man. They need that protein. So yeah, man, that's meal frequency and meal timing. I think I've covered everything on what you need to know in order to build ripped muscle fast. So let me just summarize the whole video. And if you've been watching to this point, let me know down in the comment section down below, because I made some lengthy videos today. Or in fact now. So yeah, to summarize is nutrition, calorie surplus, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight if you're bulking. If you're cutting, 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. And the training aspect is progressive tension overload and volume load. I say both, all of these factors in every single one of my videos almost. So if you've been watching me and you don't know this shit already and you want to get that mass, then I don't know what you're doing. So, and then the third factors are like meal frequency, meal timing, and optimizing muscle protein synthesis. Again, don't worry too much about it. I've just told you exactly what you need to know. So anyway, I hope this video was informative and provided some value. Again, this is based from evidence-based research because I love this shit. It's worked for me, man. I've built some mass. I'm not saying I keep flexing, man. I'm not arrogant, trust me. I don't know why I'm just doing this in this one video. So anyway, stay positive. Subscribe down below if you like me or the videos. Stay smiling, and I'll see you in the next one.